So, Fat Mike is depressed again, but he's also very motivated, which leads to this album, which is a fucking joy. Let me tell you about it. Hey, Violet here. Yeah, I know, it's been a while since you've seen me on your screens, unless you've been, like, paying attention to everything else I've been doing. It's been a while since I've reviewed punk albums, especially newer punk albums. For like the two of you who've been on YouTube for a while, I may look a little bit familiar, but also at the same time not look that familiar, because obviously things have changed. But anyways, enough about me, more about Fat Mike, because goddamn do we need to talk about Fat Mike, or at least does Fat Mike need to talk about himself, because that's all he really does now. Okay, I'm gonna get more into egotistical Fat Mike in a little bit, but let me just start here. If you don't know, Nofx is a punk rock band that started in 1983. They've been going heavy ever since. You probably heard Linulium or Leave It Alone, Punk and Drublick, The Decline, yada yada yada. They're one of the biggest punk bands that's not Offspring, Green Day, or Bad Religion. Some would argue they're bigger than Bad Religion, and better than Bad Religion, and they may have a point. But anyways, NoFX has been around for a while, is what I'm trying to say. And Fat Mike, their lead singer, bassist, and basically sole writer, he decided to take the challenge, I guess, a year or two ago. I don't know how long this has been in development. He took the challenge to try to write a punk double album. And a double album is just a double album, if you don't know. It's 2 records, but it's in one album. It's Pink Floyd's The Wall, basically. So instead of writing usually like 30 minutes of music, 12 tracks for an album, you have 24 tracks, and it's an hour long. And Fat Mike was really hoping that he would get it right. He wanted to make the first good double album, because he didn't think any other double album was good, besides obviously Pink Floyd's The Wall. And he failed. Pretty tremendously, I'd have to say, because he failed so bad that he just cut out the second disc, or maybe it's the first disc, I don't know. But basically, if you don't know the story behind this single album that was released yesterday, this new NoFX album, it's just side 1 or side 2, again, I don't know which one specifically, but it's just one half of the double album he worked on, which means NoFX had recorded and finished a full double album, and then Fatty was like, no, we're only releasing 10 of these, not even a full 12-track album. I don't know if all of these songs were on the first record, on the first side, or if he's kind of mismatched them, but if all of these songs were just like, if they just straight up released the first record as it was, the first side of the would-be double album, I'd be very fucking confused, because my main problem with this single album, and let me tell you, I'm gonna be pretty negative just off the gate. This album is good. If you're a NoFX fan, listen to this album. It's not utter dog shit. You probably already have listened to this album because it's been like 5 years since the last one. But go out and listen to the record. You're gonna have a fun time with it. Not necessarily fun. You're going to have a good time with it. It may be a bit depressing, but yeah, you get what you get. The album's a bit mismatched, and it kind of doesn't feel like a NoFX album, more so a NoFX mixtape, especially with how it came about, because this was not, it wasn't exactly, I won't say it's thrown together, but it did kind of seem Fat Mike was like, I wanted to do a double album. The double album I had wasn't that good, so fuck it, I'm just gonna release this album with a bunch of random songs on it. And that's honestly what it feels like. It doesn't feel like an album per se, it feels like a mixtape, because none of these songs really flow together or have a shared theme. And even like the title, all the packaging, there's not a cohesive theme. It doesn't feel like a NoFX record, and that the songs kind of flow together. They kind of all talk about the same subject. You know, war on errorism. Not every song is about politics, but everything has the feel of this is Bush era punk, and we're talking about political things. We're talking about the world. Same thing with Wolves and Wolves Clothing. First Ditch Effort is just basically Fat Mike's diary, and also getting a little bit lighthearted about it, getting a little bit personal. But you know what I mean? It doesn't... NoFX albums usually have a flow. Albums usually have a flow. And the whole connecting tissue, it seems, that this double album was going to have is the fact that it is a double album. That was the whole joke about... Because the double album was originally supposed to be called Single Album. That was the whole joke and reason that they called it Single Album. The whole point of the double album seemed to be that it was a double album, and that was it, and that there was 24 songs on it. There doesn't seem to be that much cohesion, and that follows through with this very Frankenstein-y record, with just tracks kind of thrown together with no rhyme or reason. There's no real flow or connecting tissue to any of these songs. That doesn't mean they are bad songs, because these songs are great, and I think NoFX is doing some of their best work individual song-wise, but my problem with this album is it's not a NoFX album. This has to be the first NoFX album that's just thrown together out of the corpse of a failed record. And you could definitely tell, especially going from, give me 1 second, The Big Drag, which is like a 6-minute fucking like post-hardcore type experimental track that's just loose bass and keys and drums kind of just doing random fills with this very floaty sort of, I can't even use my words to describe it, but it's a very album opener type opener. And I think it would work very well if the album had more cohesion, excuse me, or if this was a double album. But because it's a single album and it doesn't have that much cohesion, it's a great song on itself, and it would be a great opener for any other NoFX album. But this, it just feels off, and it doesn't flow well into the second track, I Love You More Than I Hate Me. Because that... I can't explain it. It honestly feels like I'm putting a NoFX album on shuffle. That's what this is. I'm just putting NoFX on shuffle, and I'm ending up with a bunch of current NoFX songs that are very fucking depressed, but also hilarious at times. Anyways, that's kind of my overall thought on the record. If I could put it down into like one nice headline, it is NoFX made a good mixtape with some really great songs on it, a couple duds, but they didn't make a good album. Because this doesn't qualify as an album to me. There's no cohesion. It has the same feel that a greatest hits or a B-side album does. Anyways, let's get into a track-by-track detail, if we shall. I've already talked about The Big Drag. The one thing I haven't talked about The Big Drag is lyrically wise. The whole thing is just Mike going on some train of thought depression thing that toes the line of doomerism, which is a bit problematic on its own. Problematic's not the right word, but I just don't want pessimistic doomer Mike, which depressed sober Mike has a lot of in him, is doomerism and pessimism, and this world is fucking pointless, but not in the this world is fucking pointless, let's party, more like this world is fucking pointless and that's all I'm gonna say, which is kind of what's disappointing about the song, because he doesn't really say anything in the song. It's just, wow, life doesn't matter, we're all gonna die. And then he doesn't flip it around to, so you should go out and do something. There's not really that hook, where usually in pessimistic doomer type songs like this, it would be, you have the second part after being all sad and depressed where it's like, so you should go out and do something and spin it into motivation. And Fat Mike kind of just cuts it off at that first part of the world sucks and there's no point in life. And I get that it's cool and it's like a new, unique thing, but you know, like there's no point to it. And it's kind of just like very deflating for a guy for 6 minutes to be like, there's no point to your life. Everyone dies. I'm going to talk about my love life now because that's where we get into I love you more than I hate me, which is a pretty good song. I do like this song. I like the demo version of this song more, the one that was on the 7-inch of the month club, because there was a little bit, the track is longer there, the intro is longer, you get a little bit more time to breathe with it on the demo version, but it's just a good song overall. So recorded in any quality and with certain bits taken out, it's still a good song and it still holds up. It's just your standard Fat Mike talking about love, being lyrically wise with his terms. I feel like the heroic party I throw. I'm a self-made scarecrow. That's a pretty great line. Fat Mike has some pretty great lines on this record, but we'll get more into that. Some not great lines though, and I'm gonna be in the minority with this, is fuck euphemism. Fuck you, Fat Mike emism. This song sucks. It's lyrical masturbation to a T. It's wordplay for no reason. What the fuck is a Peter Panarchist, slapdarm masochist? Shut the fuck up. I don't care if you're a wordsmith in Wessington. That is a cringy fucking line. A wordsmith in Wessington, or whatever the fuck. Okay, look, I'm queer. I'm trans. I use pronouns that I was not born with. This song is somewhat tailored towards me. I don't think Fat Mike is transphobic. I don't think Fat Mike is homophobic. I think Fat Mike really likes the LGBT community. I just think he's taking a really obscure, strange fight that doesn't need to be had. Like, he doesn't like they, them pronouns, and he's upset about this, and he wants everyone to use per pronouns. What the fuck is wrong with they, them pronouns? You do realize people use they, them pronouns all the time naturally, and he's trying to spin it into this big deal. It's just like, it's so annoying they, them pronouns to say they, because like, I'm not a plural, I'm a person, so call me per for the night. Fucking just let people be they, them. That's already in our English language, regardless on if non-binary people exist, because if you don't know someone's gender, you just say, oh, their, or them, or they, you know, that's will naturally flow out of you. You will not say per, and per is not catching on. I'm sorry. But anyways, I do think good points of the song. Kinky people, cross-dressers, all the people who sort of toe the line of queer culture, and in the grand scheme of what queer means, I would count them as a part of the queer community. But because they are technically cis-het people, as Mike is, because Mike is cisgender, he's a cisgender male, and he's still technically heterosexual, but he does participate in a lot of BDSM, he does cross-dress. I do understand how some parts of the LGBT community will be reluctant to have you in their circle and be reluctant to accept you, and I do think that's bullshit, and I do think that needs to be called out. But I also think Fat Mike just really wanted to write a song with a bunch of like wordplay for no reason, and it doesn't really flow well, and it does feel like lyrical masturbation. He said in an interview, I think it was Q on CBC, that these are the best lyrics he's ever written. Fucking wrong. Even in the sphere of Fat Mike lyrical masturbation songs, this isn't better than Oxymoron, or especially Bleeding Heart Disease. Bleeding Heart Disease is the best version of like a Fat Mike, Nofx, wordplay, lyrical masturbation, lyrical miracle genius type shit, because that song is actually very flowing and it flows very well. Unlike fuck euphemism. Anyways, to move it a bit faster, Fish in a Gun Barrel is fine. I don't really have any... I don't want to say it's a dud per se. I don't have any like negative feelings towards it, but I'm not like through the roof about it, and I don't have like that much to say. It's kind of just there, you know. It's a good song. I like the message of it. The final line, "Only a lunatic would sell a lunatic a gun," is very good. I like that message, but it's just doesn't do anything for me. Doesn't do anything offensive for me either. So. You know, what are you gonna do? Birmingham is one of the fucking best NoFX songs in so long. This is like, Birmingham is really going off of the sound and the vibe that First Ditch Effort started with, this lighter, poppier feel, but like still energetic, and just kind of this new version of like lighter melodic skate punk, and I just really like the story. The lyrics tell it well about Fat Mike getting fucked up in Birmingham and dealing with drug dealers, and talking more about his addiction and stuff like that. And I feel like this goes perfectly with California Drought. It has that feel, that sort of like lightness, but also heavy subject matter. But just really fun guitar chords and riffs, and I really enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it when I heard it first on the 7-inch of the Month Club, and I was very excited when I saw it here, and it's definitely top tier. So go check out Birmingham if you're gonna check out anything. Linulium, it's good. I like Linulium. With Avenged Sevenfold kind of doing their twinkly dwinklies over Linulium, you know? Which is basically this song. It's Linulium with meta lyrics and a little bit of a, you know, revived take on it, with Smelly doing some new drums, and Melvin and Hefe adding a little bit to the riff, and on the bridge, you have Avenged Sevenfold. I don't know the guitarist's name, but he does some twinkly winklies. And it's very good. And I'll have to say, if they are retiring Linulium and they're only playing Linulium live, I would not have a problem listening to it and fucking jamming into the pit for it, because I enjoy it. Lyrics are good. I don't understand why at the very end, and this is where we get more into Fat Mike, is a little bit egotistical on this record. Besides lyrical masturbation, I don't get the point of talking about his daughter and how he's kinky, and how his daughter knows that he's kinky from the book. It doesn't really mesh well, and it's kind of just like stuck at the end and doesn't have to do anything with what they're talking about, which is pimping out Linulium and making it new. And how they don't really want to play the old song anymore, but they still like the core of Linulium. So, I don't know, that's my one gripe on it, but besides that, it's a great song. Just, Fat Mike, you don't really have to talk about yourself in every song, you know, especially whenever this song is just a huge reference to your biggest song ever. So, on from there is My Bro Can't Survive Cancer. I was really fucking stupid whenever I heard this on the 7-inch of the Month Club. I thought it was My Bro Cancer Vive Cancer, because I'm just a fucking moron. But My Bro Can't Survive Cancer is good. I enjoy it more than Fish in a Gun Barrel, but I don't have much to say for it. Some of the lyrics are funny. The last line, like your life, this song will end short, or something like that. I thought that was pretty funny, especially I thought it was mean-spirited and like, whoa, Mike, you're kind of making fun of a cancer patient right now, until I heard in an interview, I think it was Q on CDC again, that Fat Mike found out that that NoFX fan doesn't actually have brain cancer, and he was just using it to hang out with Fat Mike. So I think the song is well-intentioned in that regard. It's like, okay, you can make fun of this guy because he was a douche who made up everything all the cancer shit. But yeah, it's it's a good, non-offensive song. It doesn't really boil my jimmies in a good way or a bad way, but it's good, you know? Nice job. You guys did another good one. Grieve Soto. So if you don't know, Steve Soto from the Adolescents passed away in, I believe, 2018, and this is Nofx's tribute song to him, like they did with I'm So Sorry, Tony, which was Nofx's tribute song to Tony Sly after he passed away. And this is where I gotta talk about how Fat Mike gets a bit egotistical and self-inserty with his lyrics, even more so than with Linulium. Because the first third of this song talks about Steve Soto, and, you know, actually sounds like a tribute song, you know, talking about Steve, talking about the other adolescents. I don't know that much about the Adolescents. I don't know if the other guys in the Adolescents are dicks, but I was kind of surprised when Fat Mike was just like, man, I really wish it was the other fuckers in Adolescents. And I was like, whoa, I mean, yeah, I get it, you'll love Steve, but like, what the fuck did the other guys do, Mike? And then from there, the majority of the song is just like random ass bullshit, to the point where he just like starts talking about death, Fat Mike does, and then all of a sudden he just sings Mike Burkett, and then it's like, wait, don't put me in this song yet, and then talks about him and how he's not dying yet, and it's like, Mike, this song literally has nothing to fucking do with you. This is supposed to be a tribute to Steve Soto. Why the fuck are you just talking about yourself and like your own fear of death or whatever the fuck? And then he goes on to talk about religion and how there's no God and like Jesus Christ resurrection, and then like he very loosely and sloppily at the end ties like, oh, if there was gonna be a resurrection, I'd resurrect Steve Soto, because don't forget, this song is about Steve and no one else, even though the majority of this song is not fucking about Steve. I'll fucking take a tribute song. Like, if I die, I'll take it a tribute song. I won't be, like, picky or anything. But if some dude made a tribute song where the first verse is about me and then the rest of the song is fucking not about me, and then I'm just crammed in at the end, it's like, okay, what the fuck? And especially just putting in Mike Burkett and talking about himself and his own fear of death, it's very... I just find it egotistical. I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority. I think it's a good tune, but it's just like the lyrics take away from it, and I'm not gonna really be jamming to it any other time, because it's like, I don't want to fucking hear about Fat Mike. I like Fat Mike talking about his life, but I don't like Fat Mike putting up a facade that this song is going to be about something else, and then just start talking about himself, and then sandwich what it was supposed to be about at the end. Like, I don't like that, and I think that's kind of sloppy, and he should have just stuck with, if he didn't have a full song of things to say about Steve Soto, then you just don't write the tribute song. You don't just add in a bunch of all bullshit about your life and your fear and your take on religion or whatever while having it be a Steve Soto tribute. But that's just my take on it. So I would put this as my least favorite song on the album, just because of the lyrics, I don't know, they irk me and I don't appreciate it, honestly. So call me a triggered fucking liberal snowflake, I don't care. Anyways, from there, we get Doors and Fours, which is right below Fish in a Gun Barrel for me. I can appreciate slower songs. I could appreciate songs that try to like have that gritty hardcore street punk sort of vibe from the late 70s and early 80s, but this is 4 minutes long and it's just depressing, talking about LA punks overdosing on like shit that was worse than heroin. I don't know, it's not fun depressing, it's not energetic depressing, it's just there's no such thing as LA punks dying from old age because they all die from heroin. Okay, thank you. I feel so much better for my life, and this is a very interesting, entertaining tune, and I very much appreciate it. I know it sounds like I'm shitting on it, but it's catchy. I could see it being used greatly as like a theme song or like an intro song, a credit song for like a punk movie, but it's just like, I'm not gonna go back and listen to it, so. Not offensive, just a little bit boring and a little bit long. Finally, I believe we get to, let me double check just in case. Finally, last track on the album, Your Last Resort, which is my pick, including songs from 7 Inch of the Month Club, which is crazy, because fucking Darby Crashing is such a good song, and I'm so pissed off it didn't get officially released on this album. Anyways, I'm rambling. Better than Darby Crashing, even, is fucking Your Last Resort. I don't know if I'm just like in the mood for it because of like the personal shit I've been going through, but my holy goddamn. I'll put it this way. The Big Drag is like if they took a section of The Decline, like a more mellow section of The Decline, and just cut it out and made a song of that. Your Last Resort is if you took the most ferocious part of The Decline and made that into a song by itself. Because holy shit is this epic, holy fuck are Fat Mike's lyrics fucking on point. If he should be talking about any song on this album that has great lyrics, it should be fucking Your Last Resort, because I love the pirate ship metaphor. I fucking just, I can't even, it's such a fucking great song. I love the 30-second long intro where it's just pianos and like Fat Mike singing and I think a little bit of bass, and then it just slams into fucking goddamn, you know Smelly. You know how Smelly hits those drums. Fucking train rolls that punk beat like a fucking robot, and the whole band just slams into it, and it's just 2 ferocious minutes of Fat Mike getting everything off his chest about, I assume, Soma Snake Oil was his wife that he recently divorced from. So I assume this song is about her and about how she used him and how he was intoxicated on her love and just about codependency somewhat in relationships. And goddamn is Mike, this is what I love about depressed angry Mike, is whenever he lets the rest of the song be as depressed and angry and energetic and kind of just make you fucking feel it. And the ending is where it really feels like a part of The Decline, because fucking again Smelly, move aside Bomber from RKL, move aside Bill Stevenson from The Descendants, Smelly may be up there as the best punk drummer. Move aside Travis Barker too, because the fucking horse gallop beat he does at the end, I think somewhat, I'll be playing it right here, but my god, does that thing fucking rule. And when I first heard it, my jaw dropped, you know? It's not even that it's like the hardest drum beat to play, but that's not like what good drumming is about. It's fucking utilizing it and like having that gallop beat while the rest of the song is mellowing out, and you kind of just like are getting over the fucking adrenaline that was the last 2 minutes of the song, and it just washes over you, and it gives you this sort of like like you're moving and bobbing on waves, and like you're on a ship, which goes with the ship metaphor. I think Nofx are fucking gods. Okay, I don't want to suck off Fat Mike and Smelly too much, but goddamn, this song really kicks ass. If you really want to listen to the album but don't want to spend 30 minutes listening to the album, listen to Birmingham, listen to Your Last Resort. Those are the 2 songs you really need to listen to. These are fucking great. And just to cap it all off, I really wish there was more cohesion, and I wish songs were swapped out that followed the same themes as other songs. But for how it is, as a NoFX mixtape of sorts, it's really good, and the majority of the songs are very great. I do recommend that you listen to the songs I recommended, and I also recommend if you're just a NoFX fan, listen to this album because you're gonna enjoy it. So yeah, it's been great talking about NoFX. I hope my camera didn't die in the middle of this, but yeah, bye.